Hey, this is Owen Finch here, your Wrestling Fortune Champion. And, I'm here to give you my review of this DVD right here, Hell in a Cell. I did say yesterday I was going to be reviewing this DVD, but first, I didn't forget to show some of my wrestling stuff from my wrestling collection, so I'm just going to show it now. First we have the Dolph Ziggler t-shirt. It's not showing off if you it's not showing off if you can back it up. Then we have actually I already showed it, but I'll show it you again. This book right here, the Q&A book. Then we have the history of the WWE Championship and WrestleMania 22. Those are the ones I forgot to show. Now let's get to this DVD right here. I still have more stuff, but I'll show that another time. This DVD, because I'm hyping myself up for this year's Hell in a Cell, and the Hell in a Cells in this DVD is not going to be as good as the ones that coming up. Maybe Punk and Cena if that happens. This DVD is probably one of my favorite DVDs that I have. I'm going to read the back to you, and like I normally never do, but first I'm going to show you the decoration of it. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007's in here. Hold on, so I have to get... Yep, this is 3. So if you could hold on 1 second. Alright. Now I'll put this in there. Okay, now let's get to it. So I'll show you the decoration now. So it's Triple H pinning Mr. McMahon, and it shows Batista bloody. And I think you can see this. I'm gonna go like this though, in case you can't. Fuck. Wait, did that really work? I'm gonna laugh if that really worked. But anyways, now I'm gonna read the back to you. Oh, and I actually didn't show you the back, and I didn't show you the sides. Now I can show you. Now I'm gonna show you. Now I'll read the back to you. It's the most demonic structure in WWE, and careers have been permanently altered by its unforgiving steel. Some of the biggest superstars in WWE history, including Shawn Michaels, Mankind, Undertaker, Triple H, Batista, and more, have had signature moments in the cell. Now, for the first time, fans can watch the greatest Hell in a Cell matches in WWE. And this collector's set, hosted by Mick Foley. I'm fine with that. So let's get on with the first. Let me get on with it now. Where did I put my phone? Here it is. So I did take notes on my phone. So this is disc 1. I had to separate the discs because I would not have been able to fit them. They showed this like promo of the Devil's Playground. It's just pretty much all the Hell in a Cells, and that my only flaw with this DVD. Hold on, I gotta close the door. I'm getting cold. But the only flaw with this DVD is that it shows that 3 times in the beginning of every Hell in a Cell DVD, every disc. So that's my only problem. It just pretty much shows the same disc as all the it just shows that same video package. Then it's the debut. Mick Foley introduces himself as the Hell in a Cell host. He's hoping that he's the right person to host this cell, and he says that he doesn't really. He says that he will never forget the first Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And he says, watch how they really use this cell at first. And then we get Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at Hell in a Cell. King of the Ring, and this happened. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. I actually messed up. Hold on. I messed up something. Where'd it go? a little bit of a botch. Alright, anyway, so yeah. This happened at King of the Ring, October 5th, 1997. And this match was 30 minutes, a half hour. Pretty good. This was a great first Hell in a Cell. The build-up was good. The whole build-up started was when Shawn Michaels hit Undertaker with the chair at SummerSlam 1997, costing him the WWF Championship against Bret Hart. And then they finally meet at Hell in a Cell. That was the only way that they could settle this score. That's what Hell in a Cell is for, to settle scores, not just to put them on pay-per-views and make them worse. Hopefully that's what's going to happen to Punk and Cena if they fight inside Hell in a Cell, which it's going to happen. But yeah, Shawn Michaels comes out and he's accompanied by Chyna. Before that happens, though, Commissioner Slaughter, not Sergeant Slaughter, Commissioner Slaughter is checking under the wind looking for like any DX members. So then Shawn Michaels come out, and at the time he's the European champion. Then he's followed by Taker. And when they lock the cell, he's trying to get out of the cell because he's really not happy that he has to be in that cell. So then Taker's kind of like stalking Shawn Michaels, and then Triple H and Chyna, I guess, get ejected because then you don't see him again for a while until like the match is over. Then Shawn Michaels is like going to punching the Undertaker. He just lays out with a boot, which was fine. And then he uses Shawn Michaels' cell, and he really destroyed Shawn Michaels in this cell. He really did know how to use the powers, like how to utilize this cell. He carried him, and he did like he put him into the post, then to the cell. It's like one of the support beams of the cell in the corner. Back to the post, back to the cell. Then he slingshotted him into the cell. Like he didn't he like put him up on his shoulder like he's gonna do a power slam, and he put him face first into the cell. Then he did like a power bomb, but like a face first power bomb into the cell. And then he power bombed him into the wing post. What else happened? Like he really, like pretty much he just dominates him outside the cell. He just crushes Shawn Michaels. But eventually Michaels does get control because Taker misses a suicide dive and he goes into the cell. That causes Shawn Michaels to go out of the offense. He does a lot of high-flying springboard moves. He actually does a pile driver onto the steel steps. He's really just dominating the Undertaker after this. He hits him off the head with a chair while Michaels is hung up in the ropes. He's punching him. Taker does a big boot though. Eventually, this was really hilarious. Shawn Michaels is I guess accidentally gets knocked into the cameraman. So then Michaels like assaults the cameraman. And then they have to open the door to the cell. Shawn Michaels hits Sweet Chin Music on the Undertaker. And then Michaels is escaping, trying to escape anyways. Taker, and then the Taker's going to fight. Is like chasing him so he can't escape because they open the cell door. So then they gotta get out. Then Taker slingshot, and then Michaels drop kicks him, but then eventually Taker just slingshots Michaels off on the outside of the cell, because there's like a roof on this cell as well, so yeah. Then Taker does the battering ram, well not like a bat, but like he does like the little power slam move, and he does it twice. Then Shawn Michaels is climbing up the cell trying to get away, and he gets busted open doing this. Then Taker and Shawn are up on the cell. Taker's just pretty much dominating him on top of the cell. Then eventually, Shawn is trying to get away, but then Taker stops on most Shawn Michaels' hands, and he goes right through the Spanish announcer's table, which was awesome. Then Undertaker is just assaulting Shawn Michaels. He's throwing him into tables. He's just pretty much beating the shit out of Shawn Michaels. Then they get back in the ring. Undertaker is still beat the shit out of him. He chokeslams him off the turnbuckle, hits him with a chair. Then Taker's going to finish him off with a tombstone. Then the lights go out, and you hear Kane's music hit. And Vince McMahon's reaction was this: "That's Kane! That's gotta be Kane!" Because Paul Bear was always talking about how Kane was coming. Everyone thought he was crazy, but he came. Then he ripped the door off his hinges, and you could totally tell though that it was already ripped off his hinges, but just the way it was. He knocks the referee out somehow. Then he gets in the ring. Taker's shocked. Does this thing. And then Taker looks around, gets up to Taker up, hits him with a tombstone. Kane leaves. Shawn Michaels gets a handover. The referee counts for the win. Then you see Triple H carrying Shawn Michaels out of the Hell in a Cell, and that was just a great first Hell in a Cell match. I think this really what brought Hell in a Cell really what it was back then, not what it is today. And I'm going to get to more of that as my Hell in a Cell reviews continue. I also should announce, and this was what they really should have brought in the build-up between Triple H and Undertaker, that Triple H had to carry Shawn out of the first Hell in a Cell match. So that was really it for that match. And I also should announce before I continue that one of the matches isn't in here, so I have to do that review separate. And I'll let you know which match it is when I get to it. So let's get on with the next thing, because then we have Raw in Cell. I really don't remember. He just pretty much says that it was Mick Foley's first time, the Rattlesnakes, and it was the first tag team Hell in a Cell match ever. I don't really remember what he said here. Some of the stuff I don't remember what he says, some of the stuff I do. Do you think he's, and I actually should mention that he is the right person. I think Taker was a better person, but it would ruin Taker's reputation if he did host the Hell in a Cell DVD. But, that's not what we're here to talk about. Well, sort of. But yeah, then the build-up, it shows like the build-up, it shows like Kane beating Taker. It's pretty much everyone's feuding with each other. Taker's feuding with Mankind, and Austin's feuding with Kane at the time. And it shows Paul Bear challenging Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin to a tag team Hell in a Cell match, because I guess they think Undertaker's not going to help Stone Cold, that he's part of Paul Bear's alliance. So then we get to the match. Mankind and Kane are already in the ring, in the cell as well. Austin comes out. It plays Taker's music twice. He does not come out. So then Mankind and Kane double team Austin. The match never really starts either. Like this was what it says, 10 minutes and 38 seconds. But really the match never starts. Because the bell never rings, so I don't really consider it really a match. Really Austin's only been in one Hell in a Cell because this match never started. But then Paul Bear locks himself in the cell, so I guess Austin can't come hurt him. Then I guess Taker comes from under the ring. He beats the crap out of Paul Bear. He busts him open, hits him with the steps. He just beats the shit out of him, and Mankind and Kane are trying to get in, but then it ends up with Austin and Mankind fighting. Austin ends up laying out Mankind with the WWF Championship, because he was the WWF Champion at the time. Then he goes up and attacks Kane, and that was really it for that. But yeah, Taker just beats up Paul Bear, so why not? Now, this one is going to be one of my favorite, this is probably my favorite Hell in a Cell. By the way, this match happened on Raw on June 15th, 1998. Then it's called the defining match, and this really was the defining match. This is what also got Hell in a Cell what it is. Well, not what it is today, but what really made the Hell in a Cell. So Mick Foley's talking about how he's going to enter his first one-on-one match in the Hell in a Cell. And then he's like he's backstage with Terry Funk. I guess he was like a writer back then. Then they're watching the Undertaker Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell, and then Terry Funk, I guess he thought they were joking. Says, "Hey Mick, why did you or Cactus? He called him Cactus. Why did you start the Hell in a Cell on top of the of the cell, like on the roof. Then they're laughing, but then he's like, I'm serious. So yeah, then he's like, it's actually not a bad idea. Then he says it ends up being one of the worst mistakes ever. And he also said, this was really actually pretty funny, when he goes to like schools to talk about how not to do drugs, stay in school, get a good education. Everyone, after he's done, he goes, any questions? And everyone raises their hand. Let me actually do this so I can, alright. And then he goes, yes. Oh, and by the way, yes, it did hurt when the Undertaker threw me off the cell. Then all the hands would go down. So yeah, then he always gets asked about that match. Then we get the match, and this match happened at King of the Ring. June 28th, 1998, and this was Taker versus Mankind, of course. So he does start on top of the cell, and Taker goes up and meets him up there. While they're fighting up there, I should say that the cell, like, wedges in because there's a lot of weight up there. And I don't think that was supposed to happen. Eventually, Taker, and this is really what happens. Mankind hits him with the chair. Taker is fighting him. Taker throws him off the cell through the Spanish announcer's table, and I don't even need to explain how great of a moment that is, because that really is a great moment. That is probably one of the greatest Hell in a Cell moments ever, and I'm not overrating it. I am serious. That is one of the greatest Hell in a Cell moments ever. Hell in a Cell. Every time I think of Hell in a Cell, every time Hell in a Cell match is announced, I have to go back and watch this match. I still get the same reaction as when I first watched it. Because this was just that great. That match is going to go down in history as one of probably the greatest Hell in a Cell matches ever. And I'm not lying to you. That was just great. When Undertaker tosses Mankind off the cell through the announcer's table. And I'm not saying I wasn't concerned when Mick Foley got hurt. I'm not saying that at all. But it just was great. It was just beautiful. And to see it just go down the way it did, that was just awesome. It was just like a great moment, a great match, and it was supposed to be over the first minute and a half. Probably not. Well, the match never even starts. But then Mankind gets up, and I'm not lying to you. And he gets back on the cell, and he's laughing and he's smiling because he was on a stretcher. And then him and Taker fight again. Taker grabs him, choke slams him. The cell the cell roof breaks, and Mankind goes through the cell into the ring. And the chair was there, by the way, I should mention. Then they're still checking on him. Taker gets off the cell. Taker choke slams Terry Funk out of his shoes. Then they start to fight again. He's laughing still. Mankind and then Taker just takes Mankind. He goes off the cell into the no wait, actually Mankind takes Taker and he goes off the ring into the cell. Mankind tries to pick up the steps, but his arm is too hurt because he loses one of his shoulders gives away. Then Taker takes a step and he just beats the hell out of Mick Foley. Well, Mankind. Then they get back in the ring, and then Taker goes for a suicide dive and misses. Then Mankind starts dominating the Undertaker. He uses a chair. He uses pretty much everything. He does a manual. He does the double arm DDT. Then eventually he grabs thumbtacks. Then Taker goes to chokeslam him, but Mankind gets the mandible claw in. Taker fights out of it by doing like a back, like when you're in the sleeper hold, you counter by going like picking your opponent and going. I don't really know what it's called. Like a, I think it's not an electric chair, but it's called something. But then he goes into the thumbtacks. Then Taker choke slams Mankind into the thumbtacks. Then he tombstones him for the win. And then you start to feel bad because you think Mankind really does get hurt. And they give him a round of applause, and he's supposed to be the heel, by the way. This looked like Taker was the heel, to be honest with you. And they're helping, and then Terry Funk's helping him out with the win. And I should mention that he loses his shoes because Taker chokeslammed him. And then that was really it for that. And then it was just a great, like I said, a great moment. And then in the next segment, it says it right here. Partners turned on opponents. In this, he says that he lost a tooth inside Hell in a Cell, and he still feels the effects of that Hell in a Cell match today. So that is really cool. Well, not cool, but it's just really strange. Then after this, we get Mankind versus Kane in a Hell in a Cell match. What happens here is, this happens, by the way, on Raw, August 24th, 1998. Pretty much Kane has just destroyed Mankind, and he, Mr. McMahon lets him have a match with Kane, and he chooses Hell in a Cell, and he says, what kind of idiot would get inside Hell in a Cell, the same cell to end in his career? And he's like, you're looking at him. So then they start fighting, and they start to fight outside the cell. Mankind just slams the door in Kane's face, knees him. Mankind, I guess, tries to go up on the cell, but Taker takes Mankind and he throws him off the cell, and he lands through the Spanish announcer's table. And then Jim Ross says, "It happened again! It happened again!" Then Kane and Mankind get back in the ring. Kane just pretty much destroys Mankind here. Mankind does get some few offense, but then it ends up being like a squash match with Kane choke slamming him, tombstones, chair shots, and that was really all there was to it. He does do a power driver to Kane, I should mention. But then Austin comes out and he just pretty much wails out Kane. Taker tries to get in. It's kind of like the Paul Bearer situation, except it's Taker. Then Vince McMahon raises the cell, then you kind of don't really see what happens after that because the DVD kind of cuts that part out. Then after that, we get another. This is still just one. Then there's a career on the line where Mankind enters as Cactus Jack, and he puts his career on the line in the Hell in a Cell. And then we get Triple H defending the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Cactus Jack in a Hell in a Cell match, and if Cactus Jack loses, he has to retire. This match happened at No Way Out, February 27th, 2000. I already kind of covered this match, so just watch that match. I still have the same reaction. But I did not give the time limit when I did cover that match, so I'm going to give you it now. And I never gave you the time limit for Mankind and Kane. Mankind and Kane was 7 minutes and 41 seconds. This match was 23 minutes and 59 seconds. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I've already kind of covered this match. I can't really cover it anymore. I did watch it though, so that you can pretty much just check out my No Way Out 2000 review, and you could just kind of check that out. That's really how I covered that match. Get off my Dolph Ziggler t-shirt. Get off my World Wrestling Federation. No, get off my Wrestling Fortune Championship. Get off my DVD. Get off that. No. Anyways, now we get the 6 men. First time ever, it was a 6-man Hell in a Cell match. First time ever. Great match. Absolutely phenomenal. This match almost beat Undertaker and Mankind. Almost. Because this is probably my 3rd favorite Hell in a Cell match. I should say my least. When I get there, I'll say it's when it's my least. On this DVD, it's probably Mankind and Kane. because it was kind of like a squash, but it was but it was still good. Then we get this match, and this match was just great. And then let me tell you who was in this match first before I just ramble. It was Kurt Angle defending the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Rikishi, The Rock, Undertaker, Triple H, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this match happened at Armageddon, December 10th, 2000, on my older sister's birthday. What a great match. Like, you could totally tell. After everything everyone had been through, people had been run over by a car. People had been taken on a car and dropped 75 feet, which I did cover. Kurt Angle was chokeslammed through an announcer's table. Off a stage through 2 tables. People have been accusing who went out for Stone Cold. Just great. Great build-up, and Vince McMahon would try to talk people out of going in this match, try to talk The Undertaker, The Rock, and Stone Cold. Stone Cold says no. They pretty much all just say no by just giving them their finishers to Vince McMahon later that night. Then we get the match. Austin comes out, he goes after Angle, they fight a little bit, because Angle doesn't get in the cell right away, and throughout this match, pretty much Austin's fighting Triple H, Taker's fighting Angle, and Rock's fighting Rikishi, and throughout this match, Stone Cold, this is during the match, what's it called, it's like scratching his face, like taking a cheese grater and like scratching it towards your face. That's kind of what they do with the cell, and he scratches them all around the cell, like he pretty much takes them everywhere. Then they do fight. Taker chokeslam. Taker. They all hit their finishers, and then they're all down for the count. Pretty much, they're still fighting. Vince McMahon comes out. He takes the cell. He comes out with like this truck with like this stuff that you use for the farm. I don't know exactly what it's called. But then Mick Foley comes out and he just punches Patterson and Briscoe, and he throws Vince McMahon out, and then they all get outside the cell and they start fighting. So really, Vince McMahon kind of brought him to get hurt more because they could have just stayed in the cell, but that didn't happen. But then eventually, throughout this match, there was like a home run demolition derby. Austin and Triple H are fighting on cars. Austin gets put through that window where Vince McMahon brought that truck out. It's kind of like the truck in horticulture. Then Triple H eventually pedigrees The Rock on one of the cars. Then Taker and Kurt Angle are fighting over by the cell, like where the announcer's table. Angle takes a chair and hits it off the skull of Taker. He gets busted open. Eventually, everyone gets busted open, pretty much. They all fight on top of the cell with Taker and Angle and Triple H and Austin. They're all fighting on top of the cell. Angle gets busted open by getting bounced off a support beam. And then Triple H and Austin get off the cell. Taker and Angle are still up there. Angle eventually gets off. Rikishi gets up there. He's hitting both of them with chairs. And then eventually Taker takes Rikishi and he chokeslams him off the cell on that truck, back of the truck. Then Taker and Rikishi are done. So then it's back. It's just down to Angle, Rock, Austin, and Triple H. They all hit their finish, and then Austin and The Rock go at it. Then eventually Austin hits a stunner on The Rock, but then Angle hits an angle slam. Austin hits a stunner. Triple H breaks it up, hits him with a neck breaker. Angle pins The Rock for the win. I actually didn't expect Angle at the time to retain the WWF Championship. Then Austin just gives Angle the stunner, and then they're like, but it's too late, it's too late. And then that was pretty much it for that Hell in a Cell, and that was the only time that there was a 6-man Hell in a Cell, and I really wish they would do a lot more of it, but they wouldn't. But it wouldn't be as good. Usually when the WWE games come out, I always do a 6-man Hell in a Cell, and I always make it 2 out of 3 falls to make it better. That's really what they should have done. Then now it's just 2. They show that. Remember, I told you they show that Devil's Playground. They show the video package every disc. They did not need to do that. Then we get end the game. Mick Foley mentions that there was no Hell in a Cell match in 2001, and he says that's the only time I think there wasn't a Hell in a Cell match. And I think he's actually right, because there was one in 1997, 1998, 1999, which I will get to. It's not on this DVD. 2000, there wasn't one in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006. There actually wasn't one. No, 2007 there was one. 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2012, and is coming up, and there's already been one, but there's another one. There's more coming up. More to come. He pretty much mentions about Triple H and Chris Jericho's rivalry, and they really did have a rivalry. They really hated, they didn't really hate each other, but it pretty much goes back all the way to WrestleMania when Triple H beat Chris Jericho for the Undisputed Championship, and then it just grew into hatred. They really hated. They hated each other. Jericho would put Triple H in the walls. And Vince McMahon made it a Hell in a Cell because Vince McMahon did not like Triple H. So then they get the match, and this match, by the did I say how long the last match lasted? The 6-pack challenge Hell in a Cell lasted 32 minutes and 26 seconds. This match lasted 24 minutes and 31 seconds. Phenomenal. This was phenomenal. Like, every Hell in a Cell match had its good moments, but its bad moments. This match was just great, I think. This match is probably... Oh, I should mention, by the way, in that Hell in a Cell match with Triple H and Cactus Jack. This was funny. Cactus Jack did leave, but he came back 6 weeks later, but he always looks at that as his retirement match. Because he just does. But anyways, let's get back to Triple H and Chris Jericho. They start by wrestling in the ring a little bit. They go into the cell. Triple H, they do fight around the cell. Then Jericho does take control. Then Triple H gets thrown into the steps. Jericho grabs a ladder. He really uses that ladder on Triple H. Eventually, Jericho grabs steps. Triple H hits him off no, I think it was the ladder. I forget. I think it was either the ladder or the steps. Then Triple H hit Chris Jericho with the steel chair, with the steps or ladder. I think it was the steps, though. Then, eventually, what happens is, Triple H, gets accidentally takes out referee Tim White. And then Chris Jericho, has, Triple H beaten, but the referee's not there, so then he just beats the hell out of the referee, and they can't get in, because, Tim White, I think his name is. Is it Tim White? Let me actually look it up for a second. Hold on, because I don't want to get this wrong. Hold on. It doesn't really say. Let me see if I can find... let me see here. I don't know if it was right or not. I don't know. I think it's referee Tim White, but I'm not entirely sure. So if I get the name, I don't really go by referees' names, but if I did get the name right, Tim White, I am sorry. Or whoever the referee's name is, I am sorry. But anyways. Better not be my mother. Anyways. But yeah, they do get in the cell. Triple H has him beat with the sledgehammer shot, but they can't make the cover. Jericho does escape, and he really is beaten. But then Jericho slams the door on Triple H. Then they fight outside. Jericho goes for a pedigree through the Spanish announce table, and I'm not lying, he really did. Then Triple H did a DDT through the table. Then they go on top of the cell. Triple H has a barbed wire 2x4. He has a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire. They go up on top of the cell. Jericho grabs it, hits Triple H with it, gets Triple H in the walls. And referee asks if he taps out. He's saying no, 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 no. I don't know how really Triple H got out of it. I think he just got out of it. And then Triple H grabs the thing and hits Jericho off the head with it. The 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire. Pins him. Jericho kicks out. Hits a pedigree. Then Jericho loses, and then Triple H is victorious, and that was a great match. And I hope I can see more of those in the future. And Mick Foley does mention that was the only match to ever end on top of the cell. So yeah, that's really it for that match. Let's get on with the next match. Next match. Well, yeah, then earning your respect. He does say that that Brock Lesnar's coming for Taker, and then the build-up for this was also pretty great too. Lesnar broke Taker's hand by hitting him with the propane tank, and he's like on a cage, and he hits him off the arm with it. And he brings Stacy, I think her name is, and he's like, "How could you, Mark? You slept with me, and now I found out you're pregnant. You're a bastard." So then he pretty much says that he's gonna put them through hell compared to what they did. Then he says, "I will cut off Undertaker's cast before Hell in a Cell." And then Stephanie makes it legal for Undertaker to use the cast, so that was pretty good. Then we get the match, and throughout this match, Lesnar's trying to use the cast as a weapon. That does not happen. That really did not happen. And then Taker's dominating Brock Lesnar outside the ring. He's just destroying him, throwing him into the cell, throwing him into the steel steps. Eventually, Paul Heyman even gets busted open by giving him a big boot. Then that causes Lesnar to get control. He puts him into the steel post, and then he puts him into the support beam. And then he has like a leather strap or something, and he ties Taker to the cell. He gets a chair and hits his cast. And that really looked like painful. That was just like, wow. That just looked painful. Hopefully he was okay after that. It just looked painful. Then Lesnar's dominating him with the cast. He's trying to get that cast off. Eventually he does get the cast off. Then Taker does do a little bit of a comeback. Lesnar though on top of the cell, he's like using there's these support beams. There's like support beams everywhere. It's on top of the turnbuckle. He's kicking Taker. He falls off. Then eventually though, Taker does do an elbow drop off the top rope, and he hits it. He never hits it though. Then he does a suicide dive to Lesnar. He tries to grab the step, but his arm is too hurt. So then Lesnar grabs the steps and hits Taker off the head twice, which causes him to get busted open. Then Lesnar and Taker are still fighting. Taker hits a choke slam, doesn't get him. Taker hits a last ride. Lesnar gets the ropes. Taker goes for a tombstone. Lesnar reverses it into an F5, getting the win. And then Lesnar gets his championship gold and goes on top of the cell and celebrates. So that was a great match. It really put Brock Lesnar over as probably a great wrestler, and hopefully he's gonna go in the Hall of Fame because he really does deserve it. I don't know if he will because of what's been happening with the UFC. And by the way, this match happened at No Mercy. October 20th, 2002. And it was 27 minutes and 18 seconds, just like the Chris Jericho match happened at Judgment Day, May 19th, 2002. And then Mick Foley says that he was done with Hell in a Cell, but he was a referee in another match because of what happened with Tim White. No one wanted to be the referee for Triple H and Kevin Nash. Mick Foley stepped up. The match itself with Triple H defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Kevin Nash at Bad Blood 2003, and it happened on June 15th, 2003. And the match was 21 minutes and 1 second. The match itself, I think it started out very slow. It was a very slow match. And then eventually it did pick up because Triple H grabs a toolbox, and I'm not lying. Hits Kevin Nash with a hammer. No, he hits it with the hammer. Then he hits him off the head with the toolbox. Then he gets a little bit physical with Mick Foley. Then eventually, they're fighting a little bit more. Kevin Nash is taking control. He slingshots him into it's like a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire. And then eventually Triple H hits Kevin Nash with like a crate, and it breaks. Triple H eventually has a chair, hits Kevin Nash with it. Then he's like, "Fuck you, Mick Foley!" Boom, and he just hits Mick Foley off the head with it. Then I think it gets busted open. Mick Foley has Mr. Sacco. And he gives him Mr. Sacco, and then Triple H I think counters into a low blow. Eventually, Mick Foley gets knocked off the ring into the cell. Kevin Nash hits a jackknife, has the win, but he doesn't get the pinfall. Triple H then hits him off the head with a sledgehammer and gets the pedigree for the win. And they sit in the 2005 Hell in a Cell with Taker and Orton. Michael Cole says that Randy Orton helped Triple H win. He did not, but he did help him outside the win. So get your facts straight, Michael Cole. Then that was really it. Then the next match is... Well, the next thing that happens is... Good Friendship Gone Bad. It's pretty much Shawn Michaels and Triple H's friendship. And I should mention... Right now, the Bobby Roode and James Storm are feuding on TNA, and when I see that feud, I think of this feud, Triple H and Shawn Michaels. It's not exactly the same. Like, I don't think it's ever going to be as good as that rivalry. Sorry for stretching, but it's in here for a while now. But I don't think it's ever going to be as good as that rivalry, but it's like that rivalry because, let's take a look. Triple H and Shawn Michaels were a tag team, DX. Bobby Roode and James Storm were a tag team, the Beer Money, Inc. They break up. James Storm turns heel. No. Bobby Roode turns heel. And Bobby Roode's like Triple H. James Storm's like the Shawn Michaels. Triple H turns heel on Shawn Michaels. Bobby Roode wins the title, and they feud for the title. And they didn't feud in a cage. But I think, I haven't seen any of the matches. But from what I hear, it's like that rivalry. I should also mention, what also gets me into this DVD is like, before the Hell in a Cell matches, they show like flash-ins, like, they show like what happens during the match. I like it, but I don't like it, because in one of the matches, they show who wins the match. The Chris Jericho Triple H, so you automatically know so you knew who was going to win the match, but back to my point, let me actually move this down, because I have to get the time limit. The only way that this was going to be the last match, this was the way to settle this rivalry once and for all. So it's Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. This match happened at Bad Blood, June 13th, 2004. And I'm getting the time limits off Wikipedia, so they might not be exactly right. But this is probably the longest Hell in a Cell match ever. It was 47 minutes and 26 seconds. Good man. And it was a great match. This is probably my second favorite Hell in a Cell match. My second favorite. This match was just awesome. Head from start to finish. They wrestle. See, what they don't get nowadays, and they should. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't do this now, but what you could do is have them wrestle a little bit first. Like, have them wrestle. What I liked is when the bell rang, they didn't go after each other right away. Because I think that's what's going to happen with James Storm and Bobby Roode. They don't need to do that, though. They stood there. They sunk in that this is going to be the end. They ran with it great. They didn't lock up a little bit. It was like kind of like they didn't like each other, but they respected each other. Then, eventually, Shawn Michaels opens up Triple H by bouncing him off the cell. But Shawn Michaels' back is like bothering him, so eventually Triple H gets his back, is working on the back by throwing it into the cell. He does a back body drop onto a chair. Then he does a back body drop on the chair when it's like unfolded. Then eventually, Shawn Michaels tries to do a comeback, but it fails. And I should mention that they do hit each other with chairs. And when they hit each other with chairs, it sounds real. Like, it sounds like the chair shot just sounded like normally they sound like this now. But it was like, it just sounded awesome. Then Triple H hits Shawn Michaels off the head with the steel steps, busting him open. Gives him a spine buster. Then eventually Shawn Michaels takes control by hitting him off the head with the steel chair twice, busting Triple H open even more. He grabs a ladder, he uses it on Triple H, he throws him into it twice. He slingshots him into it. It hits him off the ladder. And I think they all he also eventually Triple H throws Shawn Michaels into the steel post, grabs a table. And Shawn Michaels uses it against him. Does an elbow drop off the ladder through the table. Then eventually they start. And Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler mentioned that they don't want to lose because they want to see which one is better than the other. Then eventually Triple H hits a pedigree. He doesn't get it. Shawn Michaels hits Sweet Chin Music. Doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't get the pinfall. I should mention. Then Triple H eventually has to hit 2 pedigrees to get the win because he couldn't capitalize after the first pedigree because he was so weak. Evolution comes out and helps Triple H out. And Shawn Michaels stands tall. So I really don't think anyone, like, I don't really, like, there's usually, like, a failure and a succeed, like, one is going to go off with great success, and one is going to go off with failure, after a tag team is broken up, but honestly, none of them went on to fail, I don't think. I think it looks that way that Shawn Michaels did, because Triple H held a lot of championships, and and Shawn Michaels had a lot of injuries, but Shawn Michaels, I think, still did great by himself. And eventually they did get back together. And I'm happy with that. But the thing is, it's not going to be like the Bobby Roode James Storm rivalry, though. Because they don't respect each other anymore. Like, at least Triple H and Shawn Michaels, I think, respected each other. And I don't think now in the rivalry, it doesn't really show that. But in the Bobby Roode James Storm, it doesn't show it at all, though. Like, when they have their match, they're not gonna. It's just gonna be pound and pound. They're gonna go immediately after each other. But when Triple H and Shawn Michaels had their Hell in a Cell match, they stayed calm at first. They actually sunk in. They let the fans react, and they ran with that great. I don't think I would change this match any other way. This match was perfect. And the commentary in every one of these matches is great. I think Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler call every match, but the Brock Lesnar Undertaker. Michael Cole and Taz call that, and they still called it great. But yeah, that was just a great match. And I wouldn't change this match any other way. I think this match was fine. And I think this match will probably go down as probably one of the greatest Hell in a Cells. This is my second favorite one. And like I said, Hell in a Cell was different back then than now. Like, look at this. Like, they actually knew when to put the Hell in a Cell. Like, when they announced it back then, everyone would pop. Now you announce it's like, oh, it's Hell in a Cell. Because that pay-per-view's coming, you know there's going to be a Hell in a Cell match. If you know what's going to happen, no one's going to react to it. Like, when Triple H and Taker had Hell in a Cell, it was like, I didn't know that was coming. I didn't think they were gonna have a Hell in a Cell match. But now it's like, oh, Hell in a Cell, guys. Hell in a Cell, Hell in a Cell, Hell in a Cell. And then it doesn't even settle anything. Where does it really settle? It's supposed to end a feud. Like it's end a feud. Like it ended Shawn Michaels and Triple H's rivalry. What else did it end? It ended Kevin Nash's and Triple H's rivalry. Sort of. And I tell you why I said sort of. What else did it end? It ended Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. And then it made Mankind's career. And it ended a lot of rivalries. I'm gonna blah blah blah. See, when I'm here for over 20 minutes, I stop watching like I did last night. So yeah, don't blame me. But let me get on with the next match. Well, the next disc. This is now disc 3. They showed that video package again that they do not need to show on every disc. And then we have the Animals Evolution. They pretty much talk about how Triple H and Batista hate each other. The only way they could solve it was inside Hell in a Cell. And it was just a great one. That was also a good rivalry too. There was kind of like the Randy Orton thing, but I think the Batista one they did right because they put over Batista 2 times. And then this match was also great. They showed that Batista, like, everyone's like, oh, Triple H has the advantage because Batista's never been in Hell in a Cell. But look what happened. Triple H and Batista. Triple H would hurt Batista a little bit. Then Triple H took Batista off the cell off the ring into the cell. And then he put him into the first he put him to the post, then in the ring, then off the apron into the cell. Then he dominated him a little bit. Then Batista, and then he like grabs a chain, and it's kind of it reminded me because back then I wasn't around back then, but I hear stories that they would give you the belt, and it's like, oh, he's gonna give him the chain, so he whips Batista with the chain. He actually is choking Batista with the chain, and then Batista, I need to get a soda for a second. I need to get something to drink. Anyways, Batista got choked. He fought out of it. He would attack Triple H a little bit more. Eventually, Triple H bought a chair with Bob covered in, and then Triple H got busted open by getting put into the cell. He would put him into the buckle, then to the cell. Triple H grabbed like a barbed wire steel chair, and he hit Batista with that. And I'm thinking, who the hell covered a steel chair put barbed wire on a steel chair? It's like unheard of, but it is still great though. And then Batista grabbed the chair, hit Triple H off the head with it. Then that caused Triple H to get busted open a little bit more. Then Batista would start dominating a little bit all around the cell. Eventually, Triple H hit a spine buster, tried to get the win, couldn't. Then let me think. There was more stuff that happened. I'm trying to remember it in order. I probably don't even have it in order. But eventually, Triple H, Batista went for the Batista bomb. Triple H counted into a DDT on the chair. And it was just like quick. It was like, oh, DDT. Then Batista gets busted open. But the game eventually grabs a sledgehammer. He's hitting. He hits Batista with it. Then, he goes off the top rope with the chain. But Batista has the sledgehammer. Then he hits Batista off the head with the chain. Then he goes for the covers after he hits him with those, but he doesn't get it. Then Triple H goes to go off the second rope with the chain. Triple H hits him off the throat with the sledgehammer. And he like spews blood, but it didn't look like blood. But it doesn't really look like blood, anyways. But I'm just saying. Then Batista does a comeback. And then eventually Triple H hits a pedigree on Batista. Doesn't get it. And there's like steps in the ring, I should mention. Then Triple H goes to pedigree him on the steps. Batista counters to a spine buster. Goes for the Batista bomb. Triple H has the sledgehammer. And I didn't care for the finish, really. He has the sledgehammer, and it looked like he was going to hit him with it, but he hesitated. To be honest with you. But then he hit the Batista bomb. And then he gets the victory. It's like, what the fuck is that? I didn't really care for the finish, so the match was good, but the finish was a little eh. But yeah, but that was pretty much it for that match. Let's get on with the next match, and it's the Legend Killer. Mick Foley talked about how Randy Orton wanted to be a Legend Killer. He even says they still has the loogie that Randy Orton spat in his face. But then he tried to go after the Undertaker. And this rivalry, leading up, I actually laughed at this rivalry. It was supposed to be scary, but it wasn't scary. Leading up to the Armageddon Hell in a Cell match, which happened on December 18th. Yep, December 18th, 2005. And this match was, by the way, before I get to the build-up, this match was 30 minutes and 31 seconds. But let me tell you something. Wow. This build-up, though. Let me take to the build-up. The build-up was funny. Randy Orton thought he had killed The Undertaker. He killed him twice. He built him in a casket, and he backed the car into, like, the entrance ramp, and he thought he killed him, and he blows up. But then I guess he's in the middle of a match, and then we hear the lights go out, and he's like, and Taker's like, "Hello, Randy, and this is the Undertaker." Randy Orton's trying to escape, he can't escape. And then he's like, "Randy, you're going with me straight to hell, hell in the cell." And that was just hilarious. And then during the build-up, he's playing mind games with them. He has blood on Cowboy Orton's head. He possesses Josh Matthews. I'm not lying. This really happened. He makes his car leave with the stuff. He just wow. It was just hilarious. Then he goes to a psychiatrist, and he tells him that you have to make a choice between life and death. And you got to make that choice. And we think he's gonna retire. Then Taker comes out, and then we see a Drew with the Undertaker's iron urn, whatever they want to call it. Then Randy Orton low blows Taker. He just completely beats the hell out of the Undertaker, and he says, "I'll see you Sunday at Hell in a Cell." Then we get the match. It was awesome. I enjoyed this match. I really did enjoy this match. This match was just absolutely phenomenal. Every match was, but this match, it wasn't as good as some of the Hell in a Cell matches, but it was good for what it was. To end a rivalry, you have to make it a good match, and it really was a good match. What ends up happening is Undertaker just beats the hell out of him at first, and it was a great beatdown. And they tell him to keep it in the ring. Like the announcers do. And then Taker grabs a chair. He hits Randy Orton off the head, in the gut. And he busts Randy Orton's ass open. Then Undertaker eventually is still assaulted him. Randy Orton, I guess, gets sick and tired of smelling his own blood. So then he, I guess when you taste your own blood, something comes over you. Randy Orton grabs the steps. Taker kicks the steps. and Taker's just beating the hell out of him. Then eventually, he gets an advantage by, I forget how he gets the advantage. Oh, he RKO's him, hands him off the top rope, and then he hits him off the head with the steps. And then he busts the Undertaker open. He just completely annihilates the Undertaker after this. And then Taker does a little bit of a comeback because he grabs the chain and starts choking Taker with it. And then Taker headbutts him. Orton headbutts him, and I guess he lost so much blood it took a lot out of him. Well, either that or Taker just had a hard head. Then what the hell is that? Anyways, Undertaker does an awesome what's it called? But he does that like high knee into like the cell. And before that, he throws Randy Orton and he goes off the steps into the cell. Then Undertaker eventually is just dominating Orton in the ring. Orton's doing a little bit of a back and forth thing. And then eventually Orton like scoop slams Taker into the cell. But it looked raw. Like, it didn't look raw, but it looked like a botch. And it was a couple botches in this match, but nothing really too major. And eventually, Undertaker busts open Cowboy Bob Orton by getting his arm into the cell, and he just slams him off the cell repeatedly. Then eventually Orton does a splash through a table because he put the table in the ring. Taker does choke slam to Randy Orton a couple times. Taker accidentally punches the ref. He goes for the last ride too, and Randy Orton goes over his head, so that's how it ends up being punching the ref. Then Cowboy Bob Orton gets in the cell. Orton hits the RKO, but he doesn't get the pinfall. Taker hits the last ride, but Cowboy Bob Orton pulls the referee out of the ring. Taker goes after Cowboy Bob Orton. Beat him up on the outside, throwing him into the cell. Then Taker goes for a tombstone on Orton. Orton counters into a tombstone, but goes for the pinfall and doesn't get it. Well, Taker sits up. Then Orton punches up 3 times. The Taker can't sit up anymore. So Randy Orton's laughing. Thinks he has a beat. Taker chokes him. And gets up. Then Undertaker attacks Bob Orton, hits both of them with the iron, tombstones both of them, and pins Randy Orton for the win. Then Taker goes on top of the cell and celebrates. Now, people are gonna bitch and complain because I know people like that at the time and saying, "Oh, Randy Orton should have won. It's about putting over new talent. Randy Orton should have beaten the Undertaker. Why didn't he beat the Undertaker?" Let me tell you why. You see, it's not like Randy Orton went out weak. He went out in a pretty strong fight. He hit an RKO on him. He did a tombstone to the Undertaker. But the reason why, though, is Randy Orton went over he put him over at SummerSlam, at least. He put Randy Orton over at No Mercy. And he burned him. He killed Taker twice. And that's why I think Taker was the right guy to go over, because he had been killed by Randy Orton twice. He put him over at SummerSlam and No Mercy. No, I not Taker go over. I know he disappears after this, but Taker deserved it though. That's why I think Taker went over, because Taker had been killed twice by Randy Orton. But that's pretty much it for that. Then we get Now we get the amplified version, and I should mention that they mentioned that the DX is facing Big Show and Vince McMahon at the McMahons and Big Show at Hell in a Cell, and this was at Unforgiven, by the way, September 17th, 2006, and this happened and it was 25 minutes and 4 seconds. Let me tell you something. Mick Foley made Big Show sound fast by saying they had to make this new cell, and it was 36 by 36 feet, just because they had to add the Big Show in. That makes Big Show sound fat, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't really agree with that. But yeah, I think they, and I was thinking you now, now I don't care for this new cell because it's PG now. PG will, I think, ruin Hell in a Cell, to be honest with you. But let's see how they do with Punk and Cena. I think they should go out of PG mode. Out of PG mode, get out of PG. Because what's the point of having, Hell in a Cell if it has to be PG, right? And, like, it's still good, but it's PG. But anyways, it's me going like this to the table, by the way. What happens is, the build-up is pretty much DX making fun of the McMahons. Mr. McMahon gets mad, has Big Show come out, do choke slams to him, hits him with pipes, cameras, and everything, then makes it Hell in a Cell. Now, I know DX is a funny group, but how is the McMahons the heel if they're the victims? I was thinking about that when I was watching this match. Like, they really are the victims, though. How? You okay, question? Hairball? You must have had a hairball. Go back to bed. Well, go back to couch. Anyways. Sorry for my lame thought. I was concerned for the dog because she was having a hairball, I guess. You're done with hairballs, right? Okay, anyways, Undertaker, but the McMahons are really the victims, though, but I guess everyone hates McMahon, so yeah. I can see why they're the faces, because everyone doesn't like Vince McMahon. DX is a funny group, it's just... It just looks, I'm just looking at it. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. But it starts out with Big X giving Big Show a double low blow, and then just beat the hell out of McMahon's. And while this is happening, Triple H grabs a screwdriver and shoved it in McMahon's head. Shawn Michaels knocked Shane McMahon off the apron into the cell. Sorry. Then eventually, Big Show gets back up, double low blow again. He's like, "Oh, Big Show should have won like a." I'm not really gonna. He said he said something about a cup or something. I know what it is. It's just I couldn't really understand. Sometimes I can't. They really about to make jokes about Big Show's balls. Like and I would mention it more. Then Big Show does get back up. He does dominate him a little bit, but not much. Then they just double team Big Show into the steel steps. Then he gets back up, and then that's when the domination starts. And it seemed like that was when it got boring. Eventually, they bust open Shawn Michaels by putting him into the cell. They do coast to coast to Triple H. And I love that coast to coast because Triple H, I guess, got a car slammed on his ear or something. So then I guess he got busted open. And then Vince McMahon goes to pinch Shawn. He's like, "Nope, not tonight. Not tonight." Shawn does an insecure to Shane, but it doesn't really do anything. Then eventually, Vince McMahon tries to get Big Show to splash Shawn. He said he accidentally splashes Vince. He's like, "Oh no!" So then he goes to the corner. Then they pull Big Show's balls. And he goes into the steel post balls first. And then King Lawler's like, "Oh, he's gonna have to get some new ones after this match." That's really what he said. I'm not lying. I'm not sugarcoating that. Then they dominate Shane and Vince. They do like a little bit of their comebacks. A trauma drop into a spine buster. Then Shawn goes for the elbow, but like, "Hold on, wait." Grabs a chair, puts it around Shane McMahon's throat. And then he does an elbow drop onto the chair to Shane's throat, and then he's bleeding from the mouth, and his eyes are like dazed like this. Then what happened after that? Something else happened. Anyways, oh, I think after this, Big Show gets back in the ring. He grabs the steps. Triple H hits him I think in like the gut with the chair, and Big Show drops the steps, and then he hits him off the head. While Big Show's in the chair. So then, and then Shawn Michaels hits Sweet Chin Music, I think, or either that or he goes into the ropes. But I know one of those things happened. But Vince McMahon, Triple H has the steps. Shawn Michaels doesn't have anything. Triple H throws the steps outside the ring. Then Vince McMahon, then they and Mick Foley did warn us that children and all that stuff should leave. Because they do a botch in this though. I should mention that Triple H hits like a knee drop on Vince, but he completely misses. I should mention that. Then they take Vince McMahon's head and shove him up Big Show's ass. And then they do a Sweet Chin Music. Triple H grabs a sledgehammer and breaks it over Vince McMahon's head. Then they pin him for the win. And then they're happy. And then they get carried out in stretches. But it was just really funny. Mr. McMahon's head got shut off the Big Show's ass. Then after that, what happened after that? Mick Foley's going like this, like, can I look now? Can I look? And then he's like, okay. So then he talks about Triple H and Taker. And they had a match on November 18th, 2007. And the match was, and this was for the World Championship, by the way. The match lasted, 21 minutes and 24 seconds. As for this match, I didn't really care for this match. Like it was a good Hell in a Cell match. It's better than most of the ones today, but for this match, it seemed like it mostly just was wrestling. I like wrestling, but I think they should have used the cell a little bit more. This was a way to end a rivalry, though. Taker does go for a chair. Batista spears him. Then Taker puts a chair around Batista's throat and bounces the chair off, and Batista goes throat first. Taker hits him off the throat. Batista hits 2 spine busters. Batista hits Taker with the steps while in the cell and busting him open. Hits 2 spine busters. Batista bobs him through a table. Doesn't get the victory. Doesn't, I should say. Taker chokeslams Batista. Tombstones him. Doesn't get the victory. Tombstones Batista on the steel steps. Goes for the pin. Then I guess Edge was like a cameraman. And then he throws the referee out. Hits Taker off the head with the camera. Does a concerto into the steps. While Taker's on the steps, and then has Batista, puts Batista on the Undertaker, and then pins Taker for the win. Edge grabs a chair again and hits Taker off the head with the chair, and then that was really it. And that was really it. I think nothing really major really happened in this match, and nothing really stuck out to me, like it should have. But there's nothing really I can do about that. Then Mick Foley says that Hell in a Cell is a great moment. You get unexpected moments. It made my career. And he says, thanks you guys for watching this DVD. Hopefully we'll see more Hell in a Cells to come. Then the DVD ends. So this DVD was great. I did not get bored watching any match though, except, actually no, Taker and Batista was fine. It's just I wish, my favorite Hell in a Cell match obviously is Taker and Mankind. My least is Kane and Mankind. But yeah. There will be more Hell in a Cells to come, though. So yeah, my favorite DVD. I really did enjoy this DVD. I'm gonna give this DVD a round of applause. If they make more, don't, because no one's gonna like the DVD that comes out, because it's just gonna be, well, it's gonna be Taker and Edge. It would be all the 2009 Hell in a Cell matches, and those aren't really that good. I'll get to those when I get there. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'd like you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Follow me on Twitter. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Subscribe to Own the Talkinator. Like the pages on Facebook. Subscribe to CM Brothers. Like those pages like that page on Facebook. And that's pretty much it, guys. Peace out.